Hi everyone, it's Marisa from the blog bumblebeeapothecary.com. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to do the third video in a series that I'm doing on my channel called the GAPS Diet for Dummies. In this episode, we are going to be talking about how does the damage happen? Okay, so this video, if you stuck with me through the first two videos, good for you. This is the last one insofar as we're talking about the technical information side of it. The next time we're going to be talking about the diet and what you need to do to actually get started healing. So stick with me through this one, but this one is really important because it talks about how the damage in our gut actually happens. And if you're armed with this knowledge, then you know what to avoid and what not to do so that more damage is not done. A really big thing that I want you to keep in mind too as we're talking about this stuff is to not beat yourself up and feel really guilty and just be so depressed about bad decisions that you made in the past. If you didn't know any better, you didn't know any better. Now that you do know better, you can make better decisions going forward. So just leave the past in the past and go forward doing what you know is best now. In the first video in the series, we talked about what is going on, kind of a brief overview of the symptoms of GAPS people. Second episode, we talked about our gut flora and learned exactly how that works. Okay, so the first way that gut flora gets damaged is with the use of antibiotics. So antibiotics are everywhere today. They're prescribed so often. Don't get me wrong, I don't think that antibiotics are wrong in every single circumstance. I know that they can be life-saving at certain times, but I feel that they are so overused today. And I think that people use them without realizing exactly how the damage happens and to what extent. And so this is really important information so that we can wrap our minds around that and make informed decisions regarding antibiotic use. So one of the ways that we may not even realize that we're getting antibiotics is that so many farm animals are fed antibiotics, and then when we eat their meat and eggs and drink milk from them, we are getting those antibiotics in our body. A lot of produce is even sprayed with antibiotics, so we can be eating our fruits and vegetables and getting antibiotics that way. And the bad news is that antibiotics really do have a devastating effect on our gut flora. So antibiotics can actually change bacteria and fungi into pathogenic ones when they weren't before. This gives them the ability to invade tissues and cause disease in our body. Antibiotics also make bacteria resistant to antibiotics, so that means more powerful antibiotics have to be designed and used, which means heavier and deeper damage to gut flora. Antibiotics also damage our immune system, which means that we get sick more often, and then if we're prescribed even more antibiotics, it creates a vicious cycle that's really hard to get out of. Another thing that can damage gut flora is other types of medications and drugs. These can include painkillers like aspirin and ibuprofen, especially if they're used on a long-term basis. Steroids also damage gut flora, and they suppress our immune system. And then the last group of other drugs is birth control pills. Both birth control pills have a devastating effect on gut flora. And the really bad thing about this is that when a woman takes birth control pills, she gets that damaged gut flora, and then her gut flora is passed on to her baby once she does have a baby later on, and then they get that damaged gut flora. It sets the baby up to be predisposed to things like allergies and eczema and asthma and learning disabilities. Another category of things that can damage gut flora is diet. What we eat definitely directly impacts our gut flora, and that makes sense because the food that we're eating goes right down into our digestive system, obviously. Eating too much sugar and refined carbohydrates leads to an increase in certain strains of funguses and the opportunistic strains of gut flora. And within the same diet category, I'm going to mention formula. Formula-fed babies develop completely different gut flora than breastfed babies. Nursing actually populates a baby's gut flora with a healthy mixture of bacteria for their digestive tract. And then a few other categories that are worth mentioning too are that different diseases, some viruses can actually damage the gut flora permanently. Certain treatments for certain types of illnesses can also damage gut flora. These would include having surgery, chemo, or radiation. Chronic long-term stress can actually damage gut flora as well. Alcoholism and exposure to toxins can also damage gut flora. Okay, so now that you know a bunch of things to just be aware of and keep in mind so that you can make good decisions going forward, you know what kind of things to avoid and think about and how to do better. So next time we're going to jump into the diet and how the healing actually takes place and get started with the good part of actually healing our bodies. So thanks for sticking with me through these first 3 more technical videos. They're really, really important to have that foundation of knowledge laid down so that you know why we're doing what we're doing. I also wanted to share with you this free ebook that I have. This is a new ebook that I've recently released called GAPS Diet Essential Recipes. It includes all of the recipes for everything that you're going to need to know how to make for the GAPS Introduction Diet. There will be a link in the description box below where you can grab a free copy of this ebook for yourself. If you found this video interesting, give it a thumbs up. Share it with anyone who might think it's interesting and find it helpful. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I love hearing from you guys, and I always try to respond to all the comments that I get. Definitely keep the video suggestion ideas coming in as well. I love to hear what you guys want to see, what you want me to talk about on my channel. If you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. I make new videos every week on traditional health wisdom and living a sustainable DIY lifestyle. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.